What we're going to do is the same thing they do with the stones. We're going to start with a rough stone, 400 grit. Keep the sanding block aligned on the, because everything about a katana is flat, a real one anyway. You take your block of wood. It's got a little bit of this 3M contact adhesive on here. This is probably a little aggressive for what we're doing. I recommend a 77, not this. Go ahead and flip our paper back over and press down, make the good contact with it, and then we just cut it out. This is our stone, if you will. This kind of goes with the contour and cleans it as it goes. I think it's a little better in this application, especially since this sword isn't really able to be determined to be worth very much, or it could be, but there's just not enough here to declare it a museum piece or anything. So we're going to do a resto mod instead. Just kind of go down it and kind of keep your fingers away from the edge. I don't know if you can see that, but I've already got cuts from working on this thing. Keep it flat. And you want to go always this way with the grain, because the grain of the steel is this way. You don't want to go this way, okay? Ever. Okay, I've been starting off with this little flat stone and some 600 wet and dry. Kind of just wrap it around the stone. It's nice and flat. And then polishing only in one direction. The reason why I'm using paper and not the stone itself is I'm trying to restore this blade. I'm not trying to reshape it. The paper gives just a little bit to conform to some of the irregularities in the steel, but yet still be flat enough to maintain the facets, and that's very important. If you can see, there's still some of the patina left here. I'm not going to go much further with this because I don't want to take too much metal off just for some discoloration. That's a testament to its age, I figure. So we're almost done with the 600 grit here. We're going to move up to the 1000. We're going to start with our 1000 wet dry. Just cut it in a little section like that, just to wrap around the stone. Put down our water. Take a sip of Widow Jane, and off we go. Again, I'm using the Sharpie to ensure I keep the facets. Okay, it's January 15th. We will be working inside today because it is below freezing outside, and I've been working with the 1000 grit for the past couple of days and have gotten most of the blemishes and major scratches out, and it's starting to shine up pretty good, but we still got more work to do. We're going to switch over to 1500 grit and see if we can make some headway with that. If not, we may have to come back to the 1000, but I think we're in pretty good shape. If you look closely, you can see the hamon, the temper line. Couldn't see that before. Now we're going to move on up to the 1500. You can see there's still a little bit of patina left, and that's fine. I don't mind that. That kind of gives an indication of its age. It's coming out pretty good. Probably do 3 or 4 passes with the 1500. Then move on up to the 2000 where we'll start to really get a nice polish on it. Okay, it's January 25th. I've been working on this blade, polishing it for a few days now. You can still see some of the patina, some very fine hairline scratches, but it is shining up very nicely. If you look real close, you can see the hamon coming out as I polish it. Very nice. Been using 1500 wet and dry, and now we're going to step it up to 2000. Let me see here, 2000. There we go. And for our final polish down. And then after the 2000, we're going to hit it with a buffing wheel, and this part of the restoration will be done. Okay, I think we're about done. I finished it up with some 3000 grit, hit it with the buffing wheel. I think this came out nice overall. Next video, we're going to be putting it together as soon as I get the parts back from Tennessee that I'm having refinished. And we'll also have a separate video on the shadow box. Well, I thought I was going to get through the polishing without cutting myself, but I managed to do it at the very end. It's the spirits telling me that I'm doing a good job. That's what it is. Okay, the Seiya, when I received it, was taped together with what looked like medical bandaging tape or something like that. Probably because the glue broke down and it broke off into two separate pieces. Anyway, the Seiya is in good shape. Still has the kanji on it. The trick is going to be getting the residue from the tape off without discoloring the wood and making it look different in those spots. So I'm going to give it a whirl with a little bit of acetone and maybe some fine steel wool. Okay, you can see the bottom of this one has the tape residue as well. So I'm going to try cleaning right there to see if this is going to work. As you can see, the residue has come off pretty easily off the end there and didn't change the color too much, so we're going to try here next. Okay, this half came out fairly decent. You can still see discoloration where the tape was. But I'd rather have this than the residue that was on there. So anyway, didn't discolor it too much. It's the tape that actually discolored it. So the challenge is going to be getting this residue off over this kanji, and I don't know what acetone's going to do to that. So I'm going to have to pick a spot and test it out, but I think it'll work. All right, I somehow miraculously managed to get the tape residue off without fucking up the kanji here. So it's still legible. I have a loose translation for it that I'll put in the case. Anyway, so far so good. Okay, there it is, all clamped up. Should be good to go in about an hour. Okay, let's see what we have here. Very nice. Got to clean a little glue off, but otherwise came out really good. I know that's not the appropriate glue probably, but for this project it'll be good enough.